What's going on, guys? On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about precious metal prices recently and how you could start stacking recession proof silver. So stay tuned. What's going on, guys? It's STG here. Thought I'd do a little video tonight and talk about silver. That's right, silver. Right now, I know prices of precious metals have been down, but silver more so than gold percentage wise. So I thought I'd do a little video on how you can protect your silver and what type of silver you should be stacking to protect it against things such as a recession or price dips. So let me talk about that. I was just basically reading that inflation for June was higher than anticipated. It was 9.1%. Now, right now, technically, we're not in a recession just yet, but it is looking more and more like this will happen. I don't see a way out of this recession. There doesn't seem to be too much quantitative easing, basically pumping a lot of money out and trying to lower inflation. Interest rates are probably going to go up by 75 basis points. They're predicting when the Feds raise the interest rates. Anything lower would probably not be sufficient, and anything higher would definitely signal a very bad economic downturn. So conservatively, it's probably going to be 75 basis points, and we'll see what happens from here on in. I'm not. I can't predict the future. No one really knows what's going to happen. Usually in an economic downturn, the prices of precious metals go down. So this might be a good opportunity if you're interested in purchasing certain types of precious metals. Now, also, this presents an opportunity to hedge against price decreases of precious metals, in particular silver. Let me explain. So guys, I got my beer here. I got a Peroni. This is an Italian beer. I used to drink this back in the day with with some buddies of mine in college, and I don't know, I kind of liked it back then, but somehow now it doesn't taste as good as it used to. Well, I figured I would have one. Also, in memory of my favorite Italian place recently closing. Salud. So, anyways, as I was saying, so there are certain types of silver that you can start stacking that will protect you against things such as price dips and recessions. And I guess you could call it recession-proof silver. So here it is. Here's the rub, guys. So I remember I started stacking right when the pandemic started. I started in March of 2020. I had an inkling that the prices were going to go up because of the pandemic. Usually during crisis, the price of precious metals tend to go up. So what I did, I had the foresight to buy 200 ounces of silver bars. I just bought the most generic silver you can find. And here it is, guys. I bought my 100-ounce Scottsdale silver stackers. I got two of these. I wasn't going to take both of them. out of my storage. one was one was more than enough for me. So guys, this silver bar here, you see, I actually paid $16 an ounce for this silver. Now, I could have sold this when silver was up to about 30 an ounce last year, but I had a feeling that I don't really need the money right now, and I kind of wanted to wait till silver hits about $50 an ounce. I know a lot of people, that's their magic number that they intend to sell their silver. Basically, if I don't have any excuse me, if I don't have any type of emergency where I need cash, I'm not gonna sell any of my silver or gold. You know, it's always great to have a cushion that you could use in case of emergencies. You know, I'm not advising everyone to buy 100-ounce silver bars. I understand not everyone can afford that. But, you know, whatever you can afford in an emergency, having this type of what I would call generic silver is great because it's easily sellable. Now, the downside of this type of silver is fluctuations in price. So when the price of silver goes down, obviously the price of this bar is going to go down. So then how can you basically hedge against price dips and still be buying silver? Let me explain. So guys, as you know, I also collect vintage silver. Hint, hint. Vintage silver, I've noticed, even now during the dip, prices for vintage silver have remained relatively unchanged from what they were even a few months ago when silver was probably at around $24, $25 an ounce. So silver has basically gone down, let's say $8, give it a nice round number, right? And let's say it's at what, 18 something right now. So maybe it went down about $7 or $8. So figure it roughly lost maybe 40% of its value. These are all just rough numbers, right? So again, it brings me back to vintage silver. I was gonna show you guys some vintage silver that have recently sold on sites such as Fleabay, but you basically can do your own research. You could, you know, if you don't take my word for it, look it up yourself. And basically vintage silver, even though the price of silver in general is down, surprisingly vintage silver is pretty much maintaining its value, guys. I haven't really noticed too much of a dip for vintage silver, if any dip at all. And in certain cases, I've noticed prices being relatively higher than they were perhaps maybe a year ago. So, guys, if you can afford it and if you can find it, I seriously highly recommend, guys, you get some type of vintage silver. Engelhard is a really popular choice. They basically stopped producing silver around the turn of this century. Most of these type of bars were produced in the 80s. Beautiful, beautiful silver. I know SBS loves these type of silver bars. And Engelhard is a great name. You know, I recently purchased some more Engelhard bars, guys. It's probably gonna take another week or two till I get them. And I was really surprised, guys. I really was surprised because I've been looking for vintage silver bars, specifically Engelhards. And I've seen a few on some forums. You know, you could get them relatively cheap on forums. But as far as retailers, I haven't seen these bars since like maybe early 2001. They were pretty common. You could get them on a lot of retailers' websites. And I haven't seen them up until recently. I recently saw them on a retailer's website, and I said, what the hell, let me get some vintage silver. Now that prices of silver is down, let me get it. And they happen to reflect the price of spot silver when calculating how much they charge for the vintage silver. So yes, it is going down slightly, but honestly, since the price of silver, has only gone down by a couple of dollars, the price of the vintage silver, they've lowered significantly less. Which goes back to my point of vintage silver really does maintain its value a lot better than generic stuff, guys. I know up front you might be paying more for vintage, but in the long run, I feel that vintage silver has the potential to go up a lot more than generic stuff for a couple of reasons. Number one, vintage silver like this is not being produced anymore, okay? Stuff like this, as I mentioned at the beginning of the century, Engelhard basically went out of business. And for these type of bars, during the silver heydays of the late 70s, early 80s, and up until, I would say, 1987-ish, these bars were in really high demand. And since then, honestly, they went down up until maybe, I would say, the past 10 years as the price of silver has gone up. Actually, since maybe 2008, the price of silver has, gone up a bit, up and down. It was close to $50 an ounce, and maybe as low as around $14-15 an ounce in that time. So it really has taken a wild ride, but I've noticed from past sales that I've seen online of silver bars that overall the trend for vintage has been going up. So guys, depending on whether you like cast bars or whether you like poured bars, honestly guys, it doesn't matter. My advice, guys, is to get some vintage silver while you can. So that's basically my hedge against silver prices dropping. Again, up front, you will pay significantly more for vintage silver, but if time is a good indicator of the price of these vintage bars, guys, I think in the long run, you have nothing to lose and nothing to worry about. So that's it for now. As soon as I get my vintage Engelhard bars, I'm gonna do an unboxing and we'll see what I got. Hopefully I'll get something pretty neat, guys. Alright, that's it for now. Just want to thank everyone who has recently subscribed to my channel and is new to my channel. Thank you so much. Those of you who have been with me for a while, I want to also thank you as well. Those who have yet to subscribe, please, if you can, please subscribe to my channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. That's it for now, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and always, in addition to stacking silver, stack that gold.